Hudson, is this your first ever on-camera interview?
It sure is. So this is my first one.
Kelly, what would you like the world to know about Hudson's story?
So the main thing about Hudson's story that I would love to bring awareness to is what exactly his diagnosis is, because it is very rare. There's not many people living with CAH, which is what, see, he's had enough. You do want to come here. Okay. So CAH is short for Congenital Adrenal Hyperplasia. He was diagnosed when he was 3.5 weeks old, and it was a complete shock. We had no idea there was anything wrong. There's nothing within his diagnosis at that time that we saw any abnormalities. So the way we found out about his diagnosis is that CAH is actually screened for at birth in all 50 states in the US. So we essentially found out the news through a blood test that was done at his first doctor's appointment. Daily hormone replacement medication in order for his body to cope and do what all of ours do naturally. So it's a really interesting kind of complex diagnosis in that way, is that he's taking medication every day, 3 times a day. Roughly every 8 hours, he has to take a pill. And that lets his body synthetically produce the hormones that he needs to function.
Well, what's Hudson like to do for fun?
Oh my goodness. So as far as Hudson's day-to-day interests, he loves to run at full speed, just knocking into things, being destructive and loud and proud. He's all boy, so he loves to just kind of make messes, listen to music, dance, eat a lot of goldfish. Those are
one misconception about this diagnosis that you wish people would stop making. If you had to pick just one. I think as with any diagnosis, the most common misconception is that it will define you, that it is your defining characteristic is your diagnosis. And I know with Hudson that is not the case. And I don't think it's the case for anyone. I mean, he's really got limitless potential with this diagnosis. And aside from taking medication every day and kind of taking extra precautions in his day-to-day, really he can live a very, very normal life. I was diagnosed with autism when I was 4. Mm-hmm. And the 2 things I'm most proud of today are being, one, an autism advocate, and then secondly, being a mental health advocate. What are what are some things that you would tell to a parent who has a child who's impacted by a diagnosis in terms of helping them maintain a strong mental health, especially during a time like this?
Oh my goodness, you're telling me. I think the most important thing is kind of, like you said earlier, having that support system in place and knowing that you have, whether it's family, friends, a fellow CAH mom or dad, having people in your corner that you can talk to and that you can ask questions to. I know for me specifically with Hudson, I've texted fellow moms at 1 a.m. saying, is this normal? Is this okay? Should I be worried? And knowing that they're there for each other, that we're going to respond, that we're going to help out as best we can. I think that's been so important in kind of bringing me as a mom peace and being able to kind of stay on top of my mental health and manage my stress levels and things of that nature. I think it all comes down pretty big time to that support system you have in place. If he ever has a stomach bug where he can't keep that medication down, or even as something as simple as an injury, a concussion, a broken bone, any of those things
can trigger his body to go into what is called adrenal crisis. And that essentially just his body can't cope with the stress of certain illnesses and injuries. And so his body tries to shut down because he doesn't produce those hormones that keep us regulated and keep us going when we are under stress. So at that time, for example, if he ever has a medication or is unable to keep his medication down and he's very ill, he would have to learn or have somebody nearby that is educated to inject him in the thigh with his basically liquid form of the medication he takes every day. So it goes straight into the bloodstream. So overall, I think my goals for him is to be responsible, to be on top of listening to his body, listening to when, okay, I'm feeling kind of tired today, or I'm feeling maybe a little achy. I might be getting sick. Maybe I should take an extra dose.
Some of the things that I wish people would not say to me specifically are things such as, "Oh, Kerry, you have autism. I'm so sorry." Has there ever been a unsolicited comment or even a direct comment that you wish people would stop making based on your child's diagnosis?
I do. I've had people, if not outright, say it kind of indirectly, say like, "I'm so sorry. He's, I can imagine he's going to have a really tough life," or, he's. That just, I hate to hear that. I hope, will he get to do normal things? Will he get to live a normal life? And the thing is, it is what you make it. If you go into handling your diagnosis with negativity and with, seeking pity or something, along those lines, then that's one thing. But if you maintain a positive attitude, you're responsible for yourself, you're responsible for, in Hudson's case, his medication, listening to his body's needs. There's nothing he can't do. And something I always kind of say to people when they maybe make an assumption or make a comment that he's going to have a hard life or an unhappy life is that, Hudson has CAH, but CAH does not have him. Awareness is key, especially for a rare disease. And I think there are so many rare diseases out there that people know nothing about, and therefore treatment is limited in that way. There are, even if Hudson were to fall ill and he knows, or I know he will need his injection, medical professionals don't even know how to treat it, how to treat an adrenal crisis. Not every, but if I were to go into an emergency room today and say, my son has CAH, he needs immediate hydrocortisone, or he needs an IV of this or an injection of that, they would not necessarily know what on earth I'm talking about. CAH does not have instant recognition of, oh, okay, well, let's act fast. Let's get him his treatment started. And there have unfortunately been quite a few instances where a patient with CAH has needed immediate medical attention. And because maybe the doctor that they went to that day had no idea what it was, they were stuck in a waiting room for a few hours and they didn't make it. Or they just weren't given their treatment fast enough or correctly. And there are, I'm not sure on the number, but I want to say it's like roughly 50 deaths a year of people with adrenal insufficiency that unfortunately they pass away because people don't know enough about how to treat it, or they don't know how serious it is, or they may just kind of be like, oh, you'll be fine, go take a seat over there. And unfortunately the person, needs that medication immediately. And if they don't get it, then that's when it's a big problem. So
that's so doing a great job right now. Hopefully we'll be able to get this out to as many people as possible so we can spread some awareness.
Yes.
Hey everyone, Kerry Magro here from A Special Community. I can't thank you enough for watching this video, and if you like this video, please click on some more videos around our YouTube page. We are just trying to give a voice to countless people in our neurodiverse community, so please, if you can, subscribe to our video page, and then you'll also get to see a little bit more about my story from nonverbal autism to today being a professional speaker. Thanks so much, y'all.